Good morning, America. I'm your host, Bob, and today I'll be covering a couple of topics. So put on your thinking caps and listening ears, and let's get to covering. Now, throughout our life, we are constantly learning and discovering new things. Think about this. You wouldn't be here if your family and yourself did not learn anything throughout their life. You learn what's right and what's wrong, which kept most of us out of prison, what's safe and what's dangerous, etc. Think about this. You and your loved one are walking your construction site. They just poured the concrete. Both of you place your hands in the concrete and then take them out. Now, when the concrete dries up, those handprints will be there indefinitely unless it is broken or damaged. This is an example of something permanent. Now, a similar thing happens to your brain when you learn, except there's no concrete or handprints. It alters your brain in a positive way. You remember things, which makes it you, which is why you are so unique.
That makes sense.
We are recording. F you, Jared. Always messing up. Anyways, sorry guys. Please don't fire me. Now, switching it over to this poor dog. I don't know if any of y'all saw this, but he got zapped by an electrical fence. No one knows what he was trying to do, but let's roll the clip. Poor dog. We can assure that he will not go near that fence anytime soon. However, that donkey laugh had me for a second. Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching.
6 months later.
Welcome back, guys, except with a whole new anchor. Just like how CNN 10 randomly switched up our favorite host, Carl Zeus, Psych News decided to change the host to me. Let me introduce myself really quickly. My name is Antoine, and I'm the old host's twin brother. But that's all you really need to know. Let me teach you all some history. Back in the 1900s, this Russian psychologist named Ivan Pavlov discovered something called classical conditioning. Before we get started, we are going to use the words reflex, response, stimulus, condition / unconditioned. Now bear with me, it will all make sense in a bit. All of you know what a reflex is. If you don't, you are lying. When you went to the doctor as a kid and they took a triangular hammer, why was it triangular? Don't ask me. And they hit you on the knee in a specific spot, and then your leg kicked. That's a reflex. There is no need to learn it, your body naturally does it. However, it can sometimes be learned. Before we start learning, y'all remember our old anchor? Yeah, he caught Pavlov's disease and has turned into a dog. He was then used for this experiment. Let me show you a quick video. Now, the conditioned stimulus was the food, the Nutella cookie. This helps cause a reflex. So for this, it led the dog to salivate. The unconditioned response is the reflex. It was the dog salivating. Now the bell is a neutral stimulus. It doesn't really do anything in the beginning. Towards the end, the dog started to salivate just by hearing the bell with no treat present, thus leading to the conditioned response. Now, this dog has acquired a new reflex / response. This is called acquisition. Let me show you two different clips. This clip shows generalization. See how it doesn't matter how the bell sounded, and he still salivated even though there was no tree present. This is called generalization with the bells, which made him salivate. Now let me show you the second clip. Now see how the dog only salivated when he heard the higher pitched handheld bell ring? This shows discrimination. He only salivated to a certain bell sound. After a while, that dog will stop salivating if there is no tree present and the bell rings. This is called extinction. There is no reinforcement, thus leading the dog to stop responding to the bell since there is no reward. However, spontaneous recovery can occur. This is when a conditioned response returns after the extinction. Out of nowhere, the dog can hear the bell ring and start salivating. Let's change this example. Let's say you walk into your favorite restaurant and every time you walk in, a bell goes off. You, being in the restaurant, makes you feel amazing and joyful. Now you are out and about and you hear the same bell. All of a sudden, you feel joy and amazement. This is called higher order conditioning. Let's use this with humans. John Watson, who made the baby cry when Watson, and his little friend Albert, who is 9 months old, he caused fear in a baby. When the baby saw a rat, he was perfectly fine. After his trial, every time the little baby saw the rat passing by, John Watson would go bang, which caused fear in the baby, thus causing the baby to cry. Now, every time the baby, every time the baby sees a little rat, he starts crying. I know, how cruel. Now, someone came up with the foundation for behavior theory that showed that phobias are emotional reactions that are learned. So, making someone feel calm and relaxed around their phobias can help reduce the phobia, thus called counter. Biological preparedness is a topic that most of y'all should have learned in your psychology class. It allows for a quicker association that impacts someone's survival. For example, I am extremely scared of heights, but I don't know why, so I will not go anything that involves me being in high places. Have you ever heard of taste aversion? I'm sure you have, or at least felt it. It is where you avoid something because you have had a bad experience with it. For example, I struggle to eat mozzarella sticks. It's all because of this one time where I choked on extremely cheesy mozzarella sticks, which letting it cause to be stuck in my throat, thus leading me to avert the food. Have you ever burned yourself on a hot stove? Yup, don't lie. Now, you know not to touch the stove when it's on because it is painful and it may have left a blister. That's right. There was a one trial learning. You learned it one time and you don't need it to be reinforced. You won't touch a stove that is on again, at least with your bare hands. When I say habituation, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? This is a rhetorical question. I do not care for your answer. Well, it helps decrease the responsiveness to something with the repeated exposure. So when my sister blasts music while she's in the shower and I try to sleep, well, after a countless number of exposure to her music, I start falling asleep even when she's blasting music. Beforehand, I could only fall asleep if there was absolutely no noise around me. Switching it up to a different type of conditioning, it is called operant conditioning. It is conditioning using consequences. One part of experiment is called the experiment is called law and effect. Law of effect. It is where successful behaviors receive a positive consequence and are more likely to occur again, and vice versa with unsuccessful behaviors. This experiment was done by L.E. Thorndike. Thorn, Thorndike. Something similar also happened with B.F. Skinner. Now, there are two main focuses, reinforcement and punishment. Reinforcements are things that increase the behavior. There are two types of reinforcers, primary and secondary. Primary reinforcers are innate. For example, food for your big back self and pain relief. Secondary reinforcers are associated with the primary. For example, with the money that I earn from working, I can buy more food. However, these associations are not exempt from generalization and discrimination. Positive reinforcement is where you receive a reward. So if I do a good job on this video and this project, I will end up getting a good grade in the class. Negative reinforcement is where something unpleasant goes away when something desirable has been done. So if I have back pain and I properly do my stretches and the back pain goes away, I am more likely to do my stretches every day. Now, there are two subtopics for negative reinforcement. Escape learning which increases the behavior to escape an aversive stimulus. You know when you're driving and that seat buckle sound is going off, you buckle your seatbelt so you don't have to hear it. I mean, dang, I'm only driving down the street and that buzzer will not stop. The second avoidance, which helps avoid this thing. The second one is avoidance, which helps avoid the aversive stimulus. So before you start your car, you buckle up because you do not want to hear that stupid noise. Now for punishment. Positive punishment is something undesirable that is added to help reduce a behavior. You know when you cursed as a kid and your parents put soap in your mouth or hot sauce? Yeah, they were positively punishing you so you would stop cursing. Yet some of y'all still curse like there's no tomorrow. Maybe you did not get enough soap and hot sauce as a kid. Negative punishment is something that has been taken away. Most of Gen Z's prized possession is a phone. You get a bad grade, your parents take away your phone. Something desirable is being taken away from you. Now, for punishment to be effective, you must be intense and should immediately follow the behavior that you want to decrease. Y'all remember Mrs. Gilbert's story with her child missing her curfew? Well, if you don't remember, or you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe you shouldn't have skipped class that day, or you should have been listening at least. However, there are undesirable results for punishment. A behavior won't be forgotten, just repressed. It can increase anger, fear, or withdrawal. Shaping is something you're reinforcing. It is where no. Shaping is where you are reinforcing a behavior, similar to the desired goal and behavior until you finally get your desired goal. For example, remember the pigeon thing Miss Gilbert did in class where you got a piece of food and put it in front of the pigeon. You want the pigeon to be able to turn its head. So you put the food here. Oh, here. Looking for the food? Oh, it's here. Oh, there it is. See, that's a perfect example of shaping. One thing that no one likes is distinctive drift. When a learned behavior is gradually reverted back to its biologically predisposed pattern. Let me provide you with an example that happened in my own home. My dog was trained to not pee in the house early on. I don't know why, but after a couple of years, he started peeing in my house again, especially near our curtains. I can tell you for one thing for sure, my mother was pissed. I know that y'all love animals, right? Ever wonder how they do it? Animal shows, right? Ever wonder how they do it? They use a process called chaining. Usually the last behavior goes first, but it is used to create a series of complex sequences for a response. Superstition also ties into the topic. It relates a consequence, such as with a behavior. Lucky socks, for example, you wear lucky socks, which will lead you to winning your game. Or some people believe that if you step under a ladder, well, you will have bad luck. Lastly, because I know y'all are tired of hearing me yap and messing up because I've tried to take this video 20 times, I just want to cover learned helplessness. It is when an organism has no sense of control in their environment. Let's use an elephant, for example. A baby elephant is tied to a large concrete post with a chain attached to both the elephant and the post. The elephant cannot leave the circle because he is tied down and too weak. Now, when he grows up to be big and strong a couple months later, the chain is turned into a tiny little rope and is attached to a small wooden stake. However, the elephant still stays within the rope lane because he does not believe he can leave. This is sad, but it is learned helplessness for you. Well, that covers everything I want to talk about today. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day. Go Cobras!